This is the Khmer Times News. My name is Paolo Bonini, and these are your headlines. Deadly anthrax is lurking on the border. A child rapist, although sent to prison, is walking free. And is the world's biggest killer soon to be banished from the kingdom? But firstly, it's our headline story, and it all kicked off with this headline. CDC issues warning after Thailand anthrax case found. Cambodia's Centre for Disease Control, CDC, has issued a warning for anthrax after Thailand has reported its first ever anthrax-related death in 3 decades. And it was a warning that is not just some precautionary measure. Far from it, as it has been confirmed that a 53-year-old man in Mukdahan, Thailand, died this week after contracting deadly anthrax. And already a second case has been confirmed in the very same province. The Livestock Development Department has now sealed off the entire area where the death took place. And the livestock officers are now looking to vaccinate all cattle within a 5-kilometre radius of the contamination zone. It was only a few days later that this very next headline appeared. Thai meat banned from entering Cambodia after anthrax outbreak. All meat imports from Thailand have now been stopped to help to contain the disease. Now this, I must note, is the very latest update we have. But by the time this show is aired, I would guess there would have been further updates, as the anthrax bacteria is so very virulent. It is so deadly, the only action is immediate treatment with a barrage of antibiotics. And the CDC themselves describe this as crucial for survival. And unfortunately, the news does not get any better, as according to the chief health officer in Thailand, a further 3 additional suspected cases are now under investigation. Anthrax is quite simply terrifying. And just like the extremely deadly bird flu, it is forever breaking out, but it then retreats back into the shadows. The real concern of many scientists is there will be a major global outbreak that gets so very advanced, it will no longer be able to be contained. Only vigilance and caution will help stop that. And the CDC has asked people to contact its hotline if they spot anything at all suspicious. Their phone number is as short as it is simple. Just dial 115. On this week's Crime Desk, child rapist sent to prison, but he's seen working on a building site. 3 police officers busted for drug use, and the Deputy Director of Economics Crimes Department has been demoted for some strange financial transactions. There are some stories I do not like to report on, but I have a duty to do so. What I don't want to do, sometimes I have to do, as some stories are just so bloody awful. The headline will explain it all. Child rapist remains at large, prompting calls for probe. A child rapist is on the loose. A Mr. Tang Kim Long, who was sentenced to 12 years in prison for the rape of a child in 2024, remains at large, despite his conviction by the court. And this, unsurprisingly, has led to huge public outrage and mounting calls for a thorough investigation as to why it is this man, a military officer, who raped a young child, is somehow walking free despite a court ruling against him. According to recent disclosure court documents, Kim Long, who's 40 years old, received a 12-year prison sentence in December of last year. However, reports have surfaced alleging that Kim Long has been seen working outside of the prison, despite his conviction. And he is not working in the prison yard or something similar. He is in fact not even in the prison. And that to many is an outrage. Maum Sim Lee, the president for Acting for Women in Distressing Situations, brought the case back into the public eye when she stated that she had received a request for help from the victim's mother, saying that Kim Long had been seen working. She said, "The victim's mother sent me the court's decision. We contacted the authorities, but they said there's no warrant of arrest. And I don't understand. Where should the victim go in order to get this perpetrator arrested? It's already been over a year, and the convicted rapist seems to be working in Sva Ring province, working as a construction foreman at a casino in Bavet City. I do hope the authorities will arrest the perpetrator and they will punish him according to the law." Now, this case has sparked widespread condemnation by the public, raising serious questions about the judicial system's effectiveness. And this outrage has not gone unheard, as now the Deputy Director of the Judicial Police on his social media channel said that Kim Long's alleged activities outside the prison must be resolved, and he will intervene to ensure a proper investigation and a proper resolution. So, action will be taken. But many are still not satisfied, as how can a prison sentence for a convicted child rapist lead to a man so very dangerous being allowed back into the public, where he could roam free? If I get any updates on this case, I will be sure to let you know. There has been some more welcome news in the battle against corruption by those in positions of trust who seem to flout the rules. It started with this headline: Deputy Director of the Economic Crimes Police Department of the National Police demoted. Lieutenant Colonel Son Sakar, the Deputy Director of the Economic Crimes Police Department, has been demoted after he was found to have exploited private interests, and what was inferred was serious cases of extortion. The spokesperson of the National Police Headquarters stated that Lieutenant Colonel Son Sakar was summoned by the Economic Crimes Police Department regarding allegations against him that had been posted on social media. Those serious allegations said that he was involved in extortion. The defendant stated that he did not extort any money from businessmen, but he did admit that he had received money from numerous businesses, but the money that these businessmen had deposited in his personal bank account was for service fees in exchange for training on registration issues. The Lieutenant Colonel admitted that this was a mistake by using his position as a national police officer to exploit private interests. The Ministry of Interior has been instructed to remove him from his position as Deputy Director of the department. And the Police Commissioner himself has said he would like to thank those that brought this to his attention, and he looked forward to receiving any further information that would help protect the honour of the National Police. And we have another two headlines of officials being yanked in by the long arm of the law. Firstly, there's this case: Brigadier General arrested by Anti-Corruption Unit. The Anti-Corruption Unit has arrested a Brigadier General in connection with a case involving a wealthy woman in Siem Reap. Mr. Kee Neath, Director of the Legal Affairs and of the General Department of the Anti-Corruption Unit, has said that they have arrested Police Brigadier General Sambath Kozal this week, after business dealings that seemed very much to flout the law. And he's not the only one answering tough questions, as this headline appeared the very next day. 3 police officers suspended over drug abuse. 3 police officers in Banteay Minchey province have been disciplined and suspended for drug abuse in Poipet City. The Deputy Chief of the Provincial Crimes Investigation Unit have identified the suspended officers as a 2nd Lieutenant and 2 3rd Lieutenants. All three were serving with the Poi Phet City police station. That was until they were arrested along with 60 other suspects after authorities raided a KTV in Poi Phet City. Drugs and illegal activity seemed to be rampant within the KTV bar, and these three officers were snared in this huge raid. Drugs and related paraphernalia were found in the bar, and when the officers were carted back to the police station, they were tested for drugs, and all were found to be positive. They now have all been suspended. Let's close up this week with something positive, and it's very much in line with our first story. But instead of anthrax being on the attack, it's all about another deadly disease that is on the retreat. The headline read, "Cambodia on track to be malaria-free by September." The health minister has announced that Cambodia is on track to be malaria-free by September of this year. And that is a very big deal, as in 2023, there were 263 million cases of malaria worldwide. And of those 263 million, 600,000 people died. Malaria is by far the biggest killer the world has ever seen. It is estimated to have killed 50 to 60 billion people throughout history. And that is about half of all humans that have ever lived. Crikey with a crikey topping. That really is truly staggering. So when the ministry announced this week that by September there will be no more malaria transmissions, it really is an achievement of note. A spokesman said, "We plan to continue to administer medicine in targeted areas, including military bases and at the village and commune levels. If we all participate, we can definitely eliminate malaria." Malaria cases in the kingdom fell from 1,380 in 2023 to just 350 in 2024. And Cambodia has recorded 0 malaria deaths since 2018. And that is a benchmark to be proud of. The current strategy is working. And considering that there were nearly 200,000 reported malaria cases per year with 800 deaths annually, Cambodia has made an awful lot of progress. It really is a story to warm the heart, as the world's most deadliest killer could finally be banished from the land. It's time to have a look ahead and see what the weather has in store for us next week.
Right, and here we are at the weather, and here's my note of interest of the week. Let's go to it, and it's some hate mail. Yes, I have received hate mail. It's coming from a David Murphy, and what he said is, "This man's chicken head movements and staccato speech render him unwatchable. Full stop. Fail! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark." Well, there you go, David. I don't know why you have to be so nasty, but what was rather nice about this is a lot of people came out and said, no, we like what he does, and we even like his temple videos. So I got a few defenders. Do you know what? The truth is, David does actually have a point. My head was jerking about a bit because I get a bit carried away. But why'd you have to be so nasty? Well, from his nastiness came nice things, nice comments. So I don't really mind. I have actually reduced my chicken head movements this week, and I hope that's appreciated. Now let's swipe all that nastiness aside and have a look at the weather, which is also nasty. What we've got rain across the board. We've got thunder. We've got lightning. We've got a high as I look along. The high is 94 degrees, and the humidity. It couldn't get any higher. It's 100%.
This has been the Khmer Times News. Please do subscribe and comment and stay up to date with all the breaking news by following us on both Facebook and Telegram. This has been Paolo Bonini, and that was the week that was. I'll see you next weekend for your weekly Roundup.